one of the best sort of compliment that we've received was from one of the players was that she's not alone now. Before she was in, as you can imagine, she was a black female in a sport, in women's football, where already there's so many stereotypes. It's difficult as it is.
Excellent. Hello, welcome to another edition of Shoot the Defence. I'm your host, Stel, and joining me, very special guest, founder of Nujum Sports, Ebadur Rahman. Ebs, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thanks, Stel, man. You're all good, man. Thanks for
Everything
the
right?
introduction. All good, man. All good. Can't complain.
Busy, I'll take it, yeah?
No, we're busy, but these, I guess, this part of the podcast and other things you do is part of your diary anyway. So it's what makes your day tick.
What is your diary like this week anyway, man? What's it like?
This week,
Come on.
so like today, for example, I got a call with Wigan in the afternoon and a call with ECB Cricket Board, planning some stuff with them. So that's like a typical day because we don't do just football, we do all sports. So cricket and football, and then a podcast in the morning, and then in between you got, well, not in between the morning and the afternoon, you got school runs.
Mate, yeah, I can relate to that one. I can relate to that one. So you want to get everything done within that small window. You've got like 5 hours, 6 hours to do something during the day. And next thing you know, you're in the motor. Yeah. Well, look, let's talk about Nujum Sports for a start, because it's been a massive year for you. Massive year, hasn't it? I mean, you've been with the Athletic, done stuff with them. You've done stuff with the Independent, with the Guardian. You've supported well over 100 male and female athletes. And we're talking about individuals here. You've been like a tailored support system for them. But what is Nujum Sports? Who are Nujum Sports? Because I've been to the event. I know what you guys, but for the benefit of those watching who perhaps don't know, what is it? Yeah. What is Nujum Sport?
Like with all good things, right? They start off with just a figment of your imagination. Like any person, whether it's Google, Amazon, Facebook, all they say to you is that they had an idea and they just run with it. And for me, my background, I used to work for the FA. So I was in touch with a lot of Muslim footballers just because I was quite open with my faith. I started Friday prayers in Wembley Stadium. So when I first went in, the first day, they've got a little prayer room on the third floor, and the nearest mosque was like a good 30 minutes walk away. And I thought, I can't do that every Friday. That's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. I said, now after my lunch break gone. That's without the actual prayer time, which is another 20 minutes. So I thought, let's start it. We started Jummah, and we had like the cleaners, the security guards all come in. And usually when players would come into Wembley Stadium, usually for a smack on the hand for, odd charges and stuff, so just build a relationship. So one of the players reached out to me in lockdown as we started lockdown, saying, "Ebs, can you put me in touch with an Islamic scholar who's quite well known?" And I did. And after I'd done that, I thought, hold on a second, he can't be the only one that needs support. And I knew a few footballers, a few boxers, a few cricketers, and we done our first event, and just something just went off in my head, and that's when it came about. I think for people who are listening in, I think our sort of main thing is, in a nutshell, what we do is we support Muslim athletes, male and female, with their faith and their sport. And it can be, and like you said, tailor-made. It could be any support. It could be they need classes. They need classes for their faith. They might need just general advice. Need to speak to someone. The events that we do, the athlete-only events, which we went to, our 1-year event. We try and do one every quarter. We've done 5 so far, including 2 online because of lockdown and 3 in person. And one of our main pieces of work, which you may have heard of, is our Muslim Athletes Charter, which we launched in June. And that is the support that athletes need to know that they can go into a place of work, whether it's a football club, whether it's a cricket club, whether it's a rugby league club, and they don't have to worry about halal food. They don't have to worry about prayer space, because these are the little things. And like, we're talking off camera. You grew up with Muslims from North London. Enfield is a heavily Muslim populated area. When we go into work, the first thing that as Muslims we think about is, where can I pray? Or is there a halal food around here? And we forget that although these are athletes, sometimes they need these things as well. So they don't have to go into a place of work with this charter and think about, oh, am I going to pray in the showers today? Am I going to pray in the changing rooms? Am I going to go into the canteen, and do I have to have the veg option? So these are the little things that will help the athlete flourish and fulfill their potential, and it only benefits the club.
I remember growing up, and my mum was a support teacher at my junior school, and there was a day where you had to bring in your own food from your own culture. And in Cyprus or in Greece and different countries, I think in Turkey they call them dolma. But we got this, they're vine leaves, and we put mince in. And
yeah. I've had them. Yeah, it's really nice.
There you go. Nice. But my mum made it with beef mince, and I was like, oh, right, why are you making it with beef? She goes, because some children in your class don't eat pork. And that's when I was like, what's this about? She goes, yeah, they're Muslim, they're Islamic. And that's when I started learning about it. I must have been about 7, 8 years old. And then obviously talking to other people as I'm growing up, finding out more about the religion, about the beliefs and all that, going to the United Arab Emirates, and even in Cyprus, where my family's from, there's people from Egypt out there, Nigeria. Yeah. The team I support in Cyprus, we've got a Nigerian player, Shehu, who's a devout Muslim. So I've learned about the religion over the years. But when you go outside the London, right, because London is multicultural, there's still that, okay, perhaps in places like Manchester and Birmingham and perhaps Yorkshire, where there's still a big Muslim community. But if you've got to say Bristol, for example, I'm just using that as an example, the educational side isn't there. So when you see what's happened in the media over the past decade or 2 decades, should I say, especially when 9/11 happened, then you get the profiling, and the incorrect information. So I guess you guys are more like an educational system as well for many football clubs and many sporting organizations. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think also like on the educational side of things, like we've done in Ramadan, which just was in April this year, we've done scores of workshops for club support staff on Ramadan and what Ramadan is and how it will affect the players' bodies and stuff, and how they can support them. And next month is Islamophobia Awareness Month, and we've already penciled in like good 10 workshops with clubs and football associations and cricket clubs for their support staff on how we can support them and what is Islamophobia awareness. What is Islamophobia? Like you said, so education is key as well. We believe, and it's not just it helps us as well. It helps us speaking about this and helps the athletes. So.
Is it going to be like an online course as well for these people to do as like a follow-up? Because obviously you do the workshops, and I'm sure you've seen this. I remember going to university, you'd have a seminar and like, whatever, I'll just do everything afterwards. You're just there for to make up the numbers, so to speak, to get the credits. But are there going to be online workshops as well as the one-to-ones or the event ones?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking in generally for athletes or
either way, really? Because as you said, it's an educational system as well. So when you go to do these, I mean, I came to the event with you guys. I kind of knew what to expect because as I said, I've got that background. I know the religion. I know how things are done.
And I told Mustafa as well. He told me he was going to bring you, and I said to him like, just making it aware, like, which is going to be pretty Islamic stuff.
I tell you, it didn't say, you know what? The first ever cultural shock I had was when I went to Dubai the first time, and I was in the mall, and you could hear the prayers through the tannoy. That's the first time I was like, what is going on? But then I realized I'm not in England. You're not going to see that at Wood Green.
Now you hear that in East London in the summertime.
All right.
In East London Mosque, it's loud. The prayer, call to prayer, all the prayers are loud. So.
Hey, listen, in the day, it's got to be done, So what?
Yeah.
But so it didn't come as a shock to me. So when it comes to people that don't perhaps understand the religion and the demands and what is expected as part of the religion, because obviously you got your prayers, there's certain things you can't eat, etc. You said halal food and all that. Is there going to be like an online tool for people to perhaps log into and say further down the line, right, if I need to find out more, this is where I can go?
I mean, resources are available for clubs. We're in touch with majority of the clubs in the UK. I know this is a sort of a football sort of podcast as well. So, like in terms of football wise, we're in touch with the majority of the clubs, so resources are available for them. I mean, we're supporting a lot of clubs with building prayer rooms in their training ground. And in terms of educational tools for individuals who are athletes, professional, that's always available for them. And it's something we're working on in the future as well, to have something like that, like e-learning and these sort of resources available for individuals or clubs who request it.
Are you planning to go into schools as well? Because I know Kick It Out do certain things, but I don't think they go directly into schools, do they?
I'm not too sure. We have a community relations manager, and that will probably be in his remit in terms of community-related projects. And schools might be one of those. Obviously, we don't know yet.
Expansion. See, I'm giving you ideas now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like over 250 Muslim footballers in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, and that's not even going into junior level of football. And as I said before, there's been a lot of bad press, like false information, all that kind of stuff. And I think as we move with the times, we're obviously becoming more aware of different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds. And it's vital that there are people such as yourselves providing that education. Because again, even to this day, I could be going to a different city. And I've seen it before. I went to Peterborough a while back, and there's a Sikh, he had a turban on, and someone thought he was Muslim. And it's like, you just don't get it, do you? You just don't get it. So again, it goes back to education.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And for us, like, I was at an event on Sunday, and we don't celebrate the small victories sometimes. I mean, we should celebrate the fact that something happens in with a Muslim player, whether it's or a Muslim club, for example. We do something good, like the charter, or if there was a podcast, we should celebrate these sort of things. And this will only highlight the good practice. And the more we do it, you'll realize it will just become sort of natural to us.
So talk to me about this charter then. Is it a 10-point system, 10-point plan?
Yeah, so the charter has 10 points within it, which after consultation with players and Islamic scholars and clubs, I think it's very holistic and it covers everything, and it's very realistic for clubs to sort of support the Muslim players in essence, and it will just give clubs tools to, I guess, just work on. Like I said, when you come in, like you don't want to be coming in and thinking like, when I go into, the first thing I do when I go into a new place, well, I don't obviously work for anyone at the moment. I work for Nujum Sports, but like when I used to work for organizations like the FA, or before that I was a probation officer, unfortunately. And you go into a place of work, you're looking, you're thinking, okay, where can I pray today? Because there's in a dedicated room. And for those listening, we need to pray 5 times a day. Obviously, those 5 prayers aren't in those working hours. Usually winter time. However, in the winter time, you'd probably get 3 prayers in those 9 to 5 slots. So you got to do at least, you're looking at from end of October, when the clocks go back or go forward, right? Sorry. End of October till March, the 6 months, you need to do at least 3 prayers during 9 to 5. So you need somewhere to pray. You need, when you're on lunch break, for example, I've been to places where I've had to have a salad for lunch because it was literally, there wasn't even a fish option.
Wow.
Wow. So this is important. And to be fair, like, clubs are really good at looking after their players. And I can only speak positively about the clubs and the support they put in place for their players. And to be fair, a lot of the 10 points in the charter, clubs already have that in place. And it was just giving them that guidance to know that they're doing things correctly, and it's there, and they're on the right path. And sometimes that's what we need. Like, for example, if I was to go maybe Cyprus, and we've got a really Christian based or an atheist based or whatever religion it is players, I wouldn't personally know the best thing that we need to put in place for players of other faiths. If that guidance came from someone like yourself or another religious body, it would just help me. The players that I've got, it would just help me, and I would appreciate that.
I'll see what I can do, man. I can have a word. I'm going out the end of the month anyway, so I'm hoping to meet up with
nice.
I'm hoping to meet up with a couple of them anyway. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting. But yeah, it's for me when I came to the event in Canary Wharf. As I said, it didn't come as a surprise to me. But what I really am in awe of when it comes to Islam is the togetherness. I come from a Greek Orthodox background, and without saying too much, you do have a lot of hypocrisy with my background, especially churchgoers. I'm not going to go into that. But, and I'm sure there's hypocrisy in many religions. I'm not saying everyone is perfect, but at the same time, there is a sense of togetherness. There is a sense of unity, whether it be because of the religion, because of things that you've had to go through in your lifetime, be it oppression, be it inequality. How do you see the movement going in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of what you guys are doing, in terms of the awareness, in terms of how the Premier League and other clubs throughout the UK are dealing with this and helping you guys out? Also, is it just England that you're focusing on? Are Scottish teams involved? Welsh, Irish?
Funny you should say that. We've actually got a big announcement coming. Hopefully, maybe this week, maybe next week. With someone with Wales, someone in Wales, pretty big. We're in touch with a few clubs in Scotland. In terms of like clubs abroad, we've been supporting. There's a few clubs abroad, not far from Cyprus, Turkey.
Okay.
So I'm actually there this week, going into the week. The thing is, like, the brotherhood, like, that's like, I could be walking down the street, right, and I could see someone who I could tell is Muslim or might have a beard, or they might see me as a beard and walk past, and the first thing they'll say is "Assalamu alaikum." They might not even know me, right? Yeah. And that's it's very hard to describe the bond, the special bond we have, like, and you don't see anywhere else, right? When you see someone like Mo Salah or Sadio Mane or Pogba or Mahrez, and they do well, and the Muslim fans go crazy over them. And when Salah scores a goal and he goes down and he does the sujood, and they made the FIFA celebration. Dembaba was the one who made it famous.
Yeah, that's right.
They made a celebration on FIFA called "Eat the Grass," but it's actually not eating the grass. It's called it's called a sujood. So it just what that is. It's called sajda shukur. It's just being giving thankfulness to God for allowing him to score the goal. It's just showing thankfulness. That's literally all it is.
Why do you think they called it "Eat the Grass" though? Do you think they did it to? For me, it's like maybe because
I just think, I think maybe just because he's on the floor. It seems like he's eating something, and again, it comes down to education. Literally, they could have been just picking up the phone to someone they know, and the resources. This is from 2012, 2011. I'm talking about 10 years ago. Times have moved on. Now there's so many resources available, and a lot of the Muslim players do that sujood now. So I mean, if it was now, I mean, we would give them the advice for free, what it's called.
Well, I think it just shows how times have progressed in the sense that they feel comfortable to do that celebration wherever they are. I'm sure that there's still Islamophobia everywhere you go, especially within the UK and certain stadiums. But again,
I think things are changing slowly. I've been to games, and to be fair, I've never experienced racism at a game, and it's a very weird thing to say. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Of course, it exists. Racism still exists. We see it probably most weeks we see on our TV screens. We see we might see on stadiums, but I've personally never experienced racism or Islamophobia at stadiums, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, it's not. And I'm fully aware of that. But things will change, to be in a position where we've got clubs like Wolves, Watford, Brentford in the Premier League that have signed the charter. We've got the rugby league clubs, rugby union clubs. To be in a position to be able to do that and make a change is a start. So let's see where we go.
So you've got rugby, football. What else have you got? Cricket? You mentioned ECB.
Yeah, ECB, cricket. We're working quite closely with the ECB. And we're in touch with athletics and Birmingham 2020 and a few other sports as well, just off the top of my head.
Brilliant. And have you got like a 5-year plan, or is it just one of those take each day as it comes?
No, we have a plan. We have a plan. Our director of comms, marketing team, our legal team, we have a plan, and we know where we want to go to. Each year is different. Let's see what happens this year. This has been a learning curve. It's been a huge year for us. We're still very small. We've got a lot to learn, and we can always do things better as well.
A couple quick ones before we wrap it up, mate. In terms of the players who've been involved in some capacity in what you do, can you reel off some names?
I would rather not. I mean, in terms of like support we provide support to players from the Premier League down to National League. So just to give you a sort of broad spectrum of players, you met some of them once when you're at the event, so you can reel them off as well. So,
well, there's one that plays for Aston Villa that didn't show up, but I know that he's quite involved. I wouldn't say involved, but you know him.
No, he's someone who's been supporting. There's a few who didn't show up because of games. There was 3 games on that day, on the event day, which is Sunday, or just generally because they live too far away, and London's so a bit far away from them. But I mean, we've got players from, like you said, Aston Villa and other places we've been supporting, and we just, for us, we're not for profit organization. We're not here to make profit of anyone. We're here to support, and we know when you're coming over from a different country, especially to a foreign country, when you don't have family, it can be a lonely time. And someone who's gone through a lot of mental health struggles, a couple of years ago, it was quite bad. I know how it can be. And obviously everyone's struggles are different. I'm not saying it's the same struggles, but if we can be there for them, and people think that just because they make money, they don't deserve any support, or they don't deserve anything, or money buys happiness. I think Jesse Lingard said it nice, right? Money don't. I think when he was going through his struggles, he said something like, money don't buy me a good health. Money don't buy me, happiness. People think just because you have money it makes you happy. It doesn't.
Well, this is it. Absolutely. And you said that you didn't want to reel off their list of names, and I think that goes back to the religious side as well, because it's all about being humble, isn't it? And not bragging about things. And something you mentioned earlier, saying we don't celebrate the small victories. I think again that's still part of the religious side. Would you say is that fair?
Yeah, I think like for us, we want to be there for every single person, every single athlete, male or female, Muslim athlete, big, small, starting off their journey in football, cricket, wherever sport they are. We don't want them to think that there's a disparity in our level of support as well. We don't make any promises. The only one promise that we make is that if you text us, if you email us, if you call us, we will get back to you. 100%, one of us will get back to you, no matter what time of day it is. That's one promise that we can make.
Fantastic. And the final main question I have for you, females in football. Obviously, we've seen the evolution of women's sports, especially women's football. And I was speaking to a friend, a Turkish girl, the other day, and she was telling me, because I was obviously told about this event I went to. She's like, I see photographs of ladies in a hijab playing sports. That's like almost unheard of these days. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like I said, going to the Middle East, I've seen female TV presenters out there. And it goes back to what we said before about the false narrative about how women are so oppressed in these countries. Even the oppression still does exist, but not to the extent that it's made out to be. There are female TV presenters out there. So what are you guys doing to assist female Muslims in the game, or in any sports really?
In the game, I think in the WSL, to my knowledge, there were only 3. There's 2 now, because one of them's left the country. She's gone to another country to play. So one of them was at the event, Hawa, and the other one's Kenza at Everton. In terms of support, obviously, we're like, one of the best sort of compliment that we've received was from one of the players, was that she's not alone now. Before she was in, as you can imagine, she was a black female in a sport, in women's football, where already there's so many stereotypes. It's difficult as it is. whilst training. Obviously, during the game, she can't wear it whilst training and everywhere else. And she knows that she's not alone now. And where she's from in Europe, she said it's impossible to do what you're doing, Ebs. It's impossible to do what you're doing. So knowing that I can come to this country and I can, I can ask for halal food, I can ask for prayer space. I know that you're there whenever I need any support. That's enough for me. And that's all we can ask for. And the powers that be in footballing arena now, it's up to them to hopefully get more representation in the game, I guess.
You said that she can't wear the hijab while she's playing, which is understandable. But from a religious aspect, is that like like a special dispensation where she doesn't have to wear it in a sport, but she has to wear it outside of sport? Again, this is just my education.
No, that's a personal choice for her. I mean, she can make that choice, and we get all sorts of questions that we forward onto our group of scholars, and we can get special dispensation for, I guess, athletes if need be. Not on this specific thing, but different things. Sometimes, as you know, that we're not allowed to take interest. So like buying a car, for example, and finance, these sort of stuff. So we've got scholars on hand who can support with that as well. A little thing, buying a house, and so many things we support with. And they have questions that they can't just go to anybody,
Right, absolutely. Well, look, I said that was my last question. One's just come up in my mind. Obviously, gambling is a huge no-no in the religion. It's haram. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
There you go. See, but obviously there are going to be some people who fall by the wayside, and temptation, etc. Do you guys offer support for people that are trying to reform and rehabilitate after doing something like that?
For us, we're not in the business of judging anyone what they do. Whoever comes to us, whatever support they need, we provide them with support. We are in touch with a gambling charity that we were trying to do some stuff with them. So we do have some support mechanisms in place for anyone who needs support, regardless of what they need support with. We're not in the business of judging. We're in the business of supporting.
Well, Ebs, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it. And I really hope that Nujum goes from strength to strength, inshallah. See, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And hopefully we could do this again next time, and we can have a greater discussion about how big the organization has become. How about that?
Hopefully, inshallah. Let's see.
Excellent.
But it was good talking to you as well. So.
Likewise, mate. Well, before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to mention? Website, anything like that? How to get in touch?
Just give our social media a follow at Nujum Sports, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. That's all our social media handles.
Excellent. I'm going to put all the handles and all the websites on the description. So there you go. Excellent.
Thanks for that, man.
Right, boys and girls, that's another edition of Shoot Defense. We'll be back very, very soon. Until next time, take care.